The drama begins August 8th.
Brace yourself, here we go again.
Serie A team kicks off this weekend. The 3 months wait is over, and Total Italian Football will guide you through the first round matchups.
Summer makeovers for AC Milan and Inter have drawn attention to the San Siro clubs. Now, the real deal. Inter play host to Atalanta, AC Milan travel to Florence. The city that produced the surprise sides last season is ready for a repeat. Genoa and Sampdoria have put the finishing touches to their preparations. The Blu Cerchiati take on Carpi, one of 2 teams set for a Serie A team debut. The other newcomers, Frosinone, welcome Torino. The third promoted team, Bologna, face Lazio, one of 2 Roman clubs intent on improving last year's top 3 finish. Standing in their way, Juventus. In recent years, there has been a familiar feeling at the start of the season. Juventus won't be as dominant this campaign. However, the Bianconeri always emerge stronger than ever. It is inevitable the club will feel the effect of losing stars Andrea Pirlo, Arturo Vidal and Carlos Tevez, but their new arrivals should balance out the departures. Paulo Dybala and Mario Mandzukic shot Lazio down in the Supercoppa team, giving coach Massimiliano Allegri the first trophy of the season. With their first silverware of the season in the cabinet, Juventus have no intention of sitting back, as Leonardo Bonucci explained during the trip to Shanghai. A historic 5th consecutive Scudetto is in their sights.
Il campionato si è ridotto il gap proprio per questo motivo, perché il calcio italiano ha di nuovo attirato.
The gap between teams in the league is shrinking because Italian football is once again attracting big names. The Milan clubs have strengthened, and I'm interested to see Napoli under new coach Maurizio Sarri. And we can't forget Roma. Last season they struggled for the last 6 months, but they're still top-level rivals.
Fatica, però rimane una squadra di primissimo livello.
Aside from opponents, it will be tough for the old lady to repeat last season's achievements. Their most recent title was full of records. They had the best attack and best defence in Serie A team and were unbeaten at the J Stadium. The journey begins at home to Udinese and their new coach, Stefano Colantuono. Fortune has smiled on the Vecchia Signora, considering the Friulani haven't won away to the Bianconeri since January 2011, when Christian Zapata and Alexis Sanchez cancelled out Claudio Marchisio's opener. The years roll by, but Antonio Di Natale, starting his 12th season in an Udinese shirt, remains the number 1. The striker has scored 4 goals against Juventus. Opening the season with a win is a must for Allegri's team, who meet AS Roma at the Olimpico in the second round. There are 3 valuable points at stake, but the title is one of 3 objectives alongside the Team Cup and Champions League. Like last season, Juventus want to win everything.
Right behind Juventus in the starting grid are AS Roma and Lazio. Both are planning on overtaking La Vecchia Signora.
2 consecutive runners-up spots have made the She-Wolf even hungrier. AS Roma have invested heavily over the summer, reinforcing the squad in all departments, especially in attack. Edin Dzeko will spearhead the front line, supported by the evergreen Francesco Totti and two more new faces, Mohamed Salah and Iago Falqué, both keen to recapture their scintillating form from last season. No new face in midfield, but the outright signing of Nainggolan from Cagliari has kept one of Serie A team's hardest working players in the Giallorossi engine room. Especially important since Kevin Strootman's unforeseen extended absence. Antonio Rudiger will strengthen the heart of the defence, already solidified by the return of Leandro Castan from a long and well-documented layoff. However, due to injury to Maicon and new boy Rudiger, Rudi Garcia already has a mini emergency in his back line, lacking cover in the full-back positions. Utility man Alessandro Florenzi will be asked to slot into defence in round one, a treacherous trip to Hellas Verona. Despite already boasting the co-capocannoniere Luca Toni, the Giallo-Blu brought in Gianpaolo Pazzini. Coach Andrea Mandolini is intent on playing both outright strikers, supported by a rejuvenated Bosco Jankovic. Lazio closed last season just 1 point behind their city rivals. And not only are Stefano Pioli's men driven to become Rome's #1 club, but are determined to pay back Juventus for the Tim Cup defeat in May and Supercoppa Tim loss 2 weeks ago. The Biancocelesti's transfer market moves ushered in a nucleus of talent that bodes well for the future. All under the age of 23, Ravel Morrison, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, Riccardo Kishna and Wesley Hurt, however, still need time to find their feet in the Italian game. Nevertheless, the speed and shooting prowess of Antonio Candreva and Felipe Anderson act as a perfect foil to Miroslav Klose and Filip Djordjevic. Both strikers risk missing out on the opening Serie A team challenge of the campaign against Bologna. The 7-time Italian champions return from the briefest of spells in Serie B, and coach Delio Rossi will be given a warm welcome by the club he coached from 2005 to 2009. His new striker, though, will not be expecting the same reception. Not that he will be worried if he gets his name on the score sheet to pull off an opening weekend surprise.
Bologna make a welcome return, but for two teams, Sunday marks a historic Serie A team debut.
There is great anticipation over the Serie A team debuts of Frosinone and Carpi. After the promotion parties, it's time to get serious and face the big boys. Frosinone hosts Torino at the Stadio Matusa. It's a particularly special game for Ciociari coach Roberto Stellone, who comes face-to-face with his past in his first season as a Serie A team boss. Before ending his playing career with Frosinone, Stellone represented Torino for 4 years between 2005 and 2009. Gianpiero Ventura won't have any trouble keeping his cool. It's the Torino coach's 9th Serie A team campaign and his 35th overall in a career across all the divisions. This current spell in Turin, which began in 2011, is some of his best work, culminated in an impressive 7th place finish in 2013-2014 and a Europa League spot. The Granata finished 9th last season, just missing out on European football, but doing enough to show they can be protagonists again this year. It's a similar situation for Sampdoria. The Blucerchiati earned a place in this season's Europa League by finishing 7th in 2014-2015, but they failed to capitalise after succumbing to a painful defeat in the qualifying rounds. There were high-profile changes this summer, most notably Walter Zenga, who replaced outgoing coach Sinisa Mihailovic. The target remains the same: win a place in the Europa League. There were changes to the squad too, including the departures of Stefano Okaka, Samuel Eto'o and Pedro Obiang. The most eye-catching arrival was Antonio Cassano, returning to Sampdoria after his previous spell with the club ended in 2011. Debutants Carpi are the Genoese outfit's first hurdle. The Emiliani, Serie B winners last season, are preparing for the first Serie A team fixture in their 106-year history. Sampdoria also faced new boys on the first day of last season. That game with Palermo finished 1-1, thanks to goals from Daniele Castaldello and Paulo Dybala. The latter began the campaign in fine fashion, which he carried through the season, attracting the attention of Calcio's big names. Who knows if Carpi's young, exciting attacking talent, including former Fiorentina man Ryder Matos and Jerry Umbakogu, can follow Dybala's example.
After the massive letdown last season, AC Milan and Inter are planning to reestablish their place at the top of the table.
Neither club is in Europe this season, which has never happened before. AC Milan finished in 10th and Inter in 8th last season, but have to archive the disappointing campaign. A return to the Champions League is imperative, and a title challenge would be welcomed. Roberto Mancini requested and has been granted an overhaul of the Nerazzurri squad. There were big-name departures over the summer and many new arrivals, including Stefan Jovetic, who previously wore the Fiorentina shirt for 5 seasons. There are also fresh faces in defence. New central pairing Jason Murillo and João Miranda will be responsible for banishing last season's defensive nightmares. One remainder from last season is Mauro Icardi. The Argentine scored 22 goals last season, making him capocannoniere with Luca Toni. Inter weren't convincing in their pre-season friendlies, but the fixtures computer has been kind to Mancini's men. Inter begin their season at home to Atalanta, the only team they beat home and away last season. AC Milan face a stiffer debut. The Rossoneri travelled to the Franchi to face Paulo Sousa's new-look Fiorentina, who were impressive in pre-season, beating Jose Mourinho's Chelsea and European champions Barcelona. The game has a particular flavour for ex-Fiorentina coach Sinisa Mihajlovic, who replaced Filippo Inzaghi. The Serb has been likened to a sergeant major for the intensity of his training sessions. At HQ Milanello, the squad are running more than any time in the last 10 years. This summer's transfer activity has revolutionized the Rossoneri squad. Versatile Andrea Bertolacci arrives from AS Roma via Genoa, hoping to recreate his good form of last season, which brought 6 goals. Alessio Romagnoli has a clear mission: to become the new Alessandro Nesta. New attacking pair Carlos Bacca and Luis Adriano have already shone in early performances. After the 2 Milanese derby friendlies during the summer, which the Rossoneri won, the teams will come face-to-face again at the San Siro in round 3 of Serie A team. Friends Mihajlovic and Mancini, who worked together in the past, meet as coaches in a competitive derby for the first time.
Sassuolo-Napoli can never be an ordinary match for one player in particular.
I've always been a Napoli fan, even before I returned to play for the club. I never missed a match as a fan. When I'm playing for Sassuolo, I record Napoli matches. Being a fan extends to before and beyond my 7.5 years as a player and then captain of Napoli. I'm a Napoli fan and I'll be that until I die.
This time, Paolo Cannavaro won't have any problems. There will be no need to record the Napoli game when he and Sassuolo begin their 3rd consecutive Serie A team season.
Ma siamo ancora nella fase di crescita. Abbiamo tanti giovani.
We're still developing. We have a lot of young players who want to do well and lots of established players who want to continue playing for as long as possible, myself included. This mix has helped Sassuolo.
È diventato in questi 2 o 3 anni comunque una bella realtà.
As elder statesman of the group, Cannavaro knows the value of keeping the squad grounded.
Io credo che, come tanti,
like many teams, I think the priority is reaching 40 points, and once that's done, we'll see what we can achieve.
Il campionato capire cosa puoi fare realmente.
Playing against Napoli isn't the easiest of starts for the Neroverdi, who have only taken a point and scored once in their previous 4 meetings. The match against Sassuolo is an important step for the Partenopei, who finished 5th last season, and their new coach, Maurizio Sarri. If Cannavaro scores against his old team, will he celebrate?
No, never, I couldn't.
The surname Cannavaro brings back good memories for Italian fans. According to Paolo, we could see his brother Fabio, Golden Ball winner of 2006, back in Italy.
Fabio wants to be a coach and he hasn't ruled out managing the national team. He's been lucky enough to experience football abroad, something that perhaps more of us Italians should try. There aren't many of us who have travelled the world to learn about overseas football. He found the emerging football scenes in Dubai and China fascinating. I'm sure my brother will have a great career as a manager because it's something he's always wanted to do. Even as a player, he was like a coach on the pitch. He just needs a chance to show his worth as a coach. It will be wonderful for us to manage together one day. Working with your brother is always great, regardless of the fact that he's Fabio Cannavaro.
Quando stai con tuo fratello diventa tutto più bello, al di là che possa essere Fabio Cannavaro o no.
Maybe they will work together at Napoli in a few years. Should Sarri already be worried?
While Serie A team action is just moments away, the Team Cup has already started.
78 teams were raring to go at the starting gate with just one aim in mind: lift the Team Cup. Last year, the tournament ended like this. With an extra time win in the home of their opponents Lazio, Juventus sealed a 10th Team Cup success, taking them one victory clear of AS Roma as the most successful Team Cup club of all time. 16 clubs have had the honour of displaying the Team Cup in their trophy cabinets since its inception in 1922. As it has been since 2011-2012, the Team Cup winner gains automatic access to the Europa League group phase, other than the right to play for the Supercoppa Tim. The structure of the competition also remains unchanged. The first 6 rounds are direct knockout matches. The top 8 teams from the previous Serie A Tim come into play in the last 16. The semi-finals, meanwhile, are a two-legged affair, unlike the final itself, which reverts to a one-off encounter. The 69th Tim Cup kicked off at the beginning of August with the lowest-ranked teams, with 27 teams from Lega Pro, the third division, and 9 from Serie D, the fourth. The dream for those players was perhaps one day to step onto the hallowed turf of stadiums such as the San Siro or the J Stadium. No surprises in the first round, other than the 15 goals scored by Cittadella of Potenza, and all Serie D teams tumbled out of the competition. Some of the higher-seeded teams had more of a fright in the second round, when 22 teams from Serie B made their entrance. Big names like Bari and Latina were eliminated by Foggia and Pavia, while Cagliari had no such problems against Virtus Entella or Perugia against Reggiana. Worse, a trip to Milan in round 3. The moment 12 Serie A team sides made their debut. Sinisa Mihajlovic fielded a strong lineup as he sought a winning start to his AC Milan career against Perugia. 5 summer signings were given their first competitive start, but it was an old head that took centre stage in the opening 45 minutes at the San Siro.
Luis Adriano riceve da Antonelli, la finta per Honda! Keisuke Honda! È suo, il primo gol del Milan! Centrali da Honda, ancora Bacca con il tacco per Honda, Luis Adriano, posizione regolare, Luis Adriano! 2-0 Milan!
An all-action display from Keisuke Honda brought a first strike for debutant Luis Adriano. His co-striker Carlos Bacca was unlucky not to find his name on the scoresheet too. Mihajlovic's men controlled proceedings after the interval, with Perugia mustering little in attack. Same venue, same opponents, same competition, and almost the same result. Mihajlovic followed in the footsteps of Carlo Ancelotti 14 years prior with a Tim Cup success over Perugia. The only difference, a 2-0 rather than a 3-0 success.
Other teams were involved in the round 3 action. Let's catch up with the winners and losers.
Other established Serie A team sides played their first competitive match of the season in round 3 of the Tim Cup. Udinese welcomed Novara to the new-look Stadio Friuli, and 2 goals in 2 minutes on the half-hour mark put the Bianconeri in the driving seat.
Chiffi parte Buzzagoli, è un tiro in porta che finisce in rete 2-1.
Although the Lega Pro champions rallied in the second half, the hosts restored their 2-goal cushion and progressed to the next round. Hellas Verona defeated Lega Pro side Foggia by the same scoreline, while Atalanta won 3-0 against Cittadella. Another Serie A, Serie B matchup was in Turin, where Torino welcomed Pescara. The side, coached by Massimo Oddo, gave the hosts an early fright. New signings Daniele Baselli and Aprile Acqua calmed Granata nerves before they overpowered their opponents.
Vives, palla larga per Quagliarella, cross nel mezzo, l'errore di Fiorillo e Maxi Lopez la mette dentro, 3-1 Torino. Baselli potrebbe mettere nel mezzo, si muove Quagliarella, la palla per lui, il palo di Quagliarella.
Palermo found the going tougher against Avellino, despite Luca Rigoni maintaining his attack-minded approach from last season.
corner con il colpo di testa, attenzione Rigoni, colpo di tacco ed è il vantaggio del Palermo. Gavazzi cerca il cross dentro e la deviazione splendida da parte di Trotta.
The Sicilians were pegged back, only for under-21 European champion Robin Quaison to secure victory for the Rosanero. Chievo Verona lost 1-0 to Salernitana, recently promoted to Serie B, while all three of Serie A Tim's new boys faced awkward matches. Bologna welcomed Pavia, and while Carpi needed extra time to see off Livorno, Frosinone were knocked out on penalties by Spezia. Pavia were determined to keep the Lega Pro flag flying.
Punizione per il Pavia, la battuta col destro, si impenna il pallone dopo la respinta della barriera, arriva Del Sante, il vantaggio del Pavia. In attacco adesso il Bologna, Brighi prova a passare con un po' di fortuna, rimpallo un secondo, prova la conclusione in qualche modo. Contropiede del Pavia, dall'altra parte sale velocissimo Bellazzini, il pallone è proprio per lui, cerca lo stop e poi la conclusione con il sinistro, Mirante.
Pavia earned a first ever fourth round against Hellas Verona when the Tim Cup returns in December. Crotone take on AC Milan, while Stefano Colantuono will meet his former side, Atalanta.
Now a classic feature of Total Italian football, curious facts.
Newly appointed Empoli coach Marco Giampaolo faces Chievo Verona in round one, the same team he met in his first ever Serie A Tim appointment in 2005-2006. Genoa haven't won at Palermo since March 2008. Since winning that game 3-2, the Rossoblu have lost 4 times and drawn twice. Keep an eye out for Herman Dennis when Inter meet Atalanta. Mancini's side are the Argentines' favourite Serie A Tim victim, as illustrated by his 7 goals in 12 games against the Nerazzurri. The respective star strikers have never scored in this fixture. Napoli's Gonzalo Higuain and Sassuolo's Domenico Berardi are yet to strike in 3 meetings.
Now that we have set the scene, the only thing missing is the action. Join the first round of Serie A Team and join me the next week with Serie A Show. Besito.